If you are in a job that you don't like, do your best to love yourself through that situation. A couple years ago, I worked at a job that was extremely intellectually understimulating for me. All I did was pass out medication 3 times per day, but it was a 12-hour shift. So in between, I had a lot of free time. And I was extremely bored. I was extremely understimulated. So, in order to love myself through this job, because at the time there was no other option, I had to work full time. I had to pay my mortgage. I had to make sure my kids had insurance. I had to support my family. So, I did my best to love myself through that job, no matter how difficult it was. I would spend the time in between passing out medication, developing myself. I would listen to podcasts. I would put my earbuds in and I would walk around the campus and get exercise. I got to the point where I would walk 5 to 10 miles per day in between med passes, just listening to music, listening to spiritual podcasts and interviews and things like that to pass the time. Everybody thought I was a little bit crazy because I was constantly walking around the campus, but this was my coping skill and this was how I developed myself. I didn't want my body to feel trapped. And at that point, I felt very trapped in that job. So I began to exercise as much freedom as I could within the limits of that job. If you can spend your downtime, if you can spend your breaks listening to something educational, listening to something higher vibrational, or if you're a reader, if you prefer to read, spend as much time as you can while at that job working on being in the vibration of where you actually want to be. I wanted to be in the vibration of freedom and of learning and of being intellectually stimulated. So I brought that vibration to me while I was at that job. And after some time, I eventually manifested a way out of that job to where I did not have to be there anymore. Now, I'm not saying don't be present. But I'm saying if you have extra time available to you while you're at work, spend it doing the thing that you love. Find a way to be in the emotion that you actually want to feel. If going to work makes you feel limited, if it makes you feel restricted, find a way to feel free while you're at that job to the best of your ability.